I cheated on my wife because I felt invisible, but when she found the messages, packed her bags, and walked out with our kids without a single tear, I realized too late that I hadn't been trapped in an unhappy marriage. I'd been loved by a woman who deserved loyalty, and I traded that love for a few midnight texts that cost me everything. Sarah from marketing had been flirting for weeks. Little comments about my shirt, laughing too hard at jokes that weren't funny, staying late when she knew I'd be working. I noticed. God, I noticed. And instead of shutting it down like a man with a decade of marriage behind him, I leaned in. The reply came 30 seconds later. I've been thinking about you too. That's when I knew. That's when I could have stopped. That's when I should have deleted the thread, gone upstairs, and held my wife while she slept. Instead, I took another sip and kept typing. My wife's name is Jennifer. 15 years together, 11 married. 2 kids, ages 7 and 9. A mortgage. A dog. The whole American dream that I somehow convinced myself had become a prison. We'd grown comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Dinner was routine. Conversations were logistics. Sex was scheduled around exhaustion. The spark everyone talks about had faded into something quieter, something I told myself wasn't enough. I forgot that quiet love is still love. That routine means someone stayed. The texts with Sarah continued for 2 weeks. Late nights. Deleted conversations. A separate messaging app I hid in a folder labeled Work Docs. We talked about everything, nothing, the space between. She made me feel like I was still someone worth discovering, not just a paycheck and a ride to soccer practice. I started staying late at the office. Started caring about cologne again. Started checking my phone every 3 minutes like a teenager. Jennifer noticed, of course she noticed. You seem distant, she said one morning, pouring coffee. I told her I was stressed about the project deadline. She believed me because she trusted me. That's what 15 years earns you. Trust I was actively destroying with every message, every lie, every moment I chose someone else over her. My buddy Marcus didn't help. Man, you're not dead. You're allowed to feel alive. We were at a bar after work, 3rd beer in, and I was venting about feeling invisible at home. He leaned back and said what I wanted to hear, that marriage shouldn't mean giving up who you are, that it's normal to need validation, that Jennifer had probably checked out too. I drank it in like absolution. Like permission. Social media fed the same lie. Success stories of people who followed their hearts and chose happiness. Inspirational quotes about not settling. Photos of couples who looked perpetually thrilled, never showing the boring Tuesday nights or the arguments about whose turn it was to take out the trash. I started believing I'd been sold a bad deal, that somewhere out there was a life more exciting than this one. The kiss happened 3 weeks after that first text. Office parking garage, 7:30 p.m. Everyone else had gone home. Sarah was leaving, I was leaving, and we ended up at our cars at the same time. She turned to say goodbye and I saw it in her eyes, that invitation. I could have said goodnight. I could have gotten in my car and driven to the house where my wife was probably helping with homework and reheating leftovers and being the steady, constant person she'd always been. I kissed Sarah instead. 10 seconds that rewired everything. This can't happen again, I said, pulling back. She smiled. Okay. It happened again 2 days later. And 3 days after that. Always at the office, always late, always with the same promise that this was the last time. I told myself I was still a good husband. I came home. I kissed Jennifer goodnight. I read bedtime stories. I mowed the lawn and paid the bills and showed up to parent-teacher conferences. The affair was separate, compartmentalized, something that didn't count because I wasn't in love with Sarah. It was just attention. Just validation. Just proof I was still desirable. Just betrayal dressed up as need. Jennifer asked about my phone one Saturday morning. Who keeps texting you? I said it was work. She said on a Saturday? With that edge in her voice that meant she knew something was wrong. I doubled down. Got defensive. Asked if she was checking up on me. She backed off because she didn't want to fight, because after 15 years she'd learned which battles to pick. I should have confessed right then. Should have burned it all down myself before she had to find the ashes. She found the messages on a Tuesday. I'd gotten careless, left my phone on the counter while I showered. Our daughter had asked to use it to look up something for school. Jennifer probably told her to wait, probably picked up the phone to bring it to me, probably saw the notification that changed everything. We need to talk. 4 words. Said calmly, quietly, while the kids watched TV in the other room. I came downstairs in a towel, saw her face, and knew. Everything in me went cold. I saw the messages, she said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. All of them. I watched my wife's face as she looked at me like a stranger. No yelling. No throwing things. Just this horrible, suffocating silence where I could see her rewriting every moment of the last month, every I love you I'd said while thinking about someone else, every time I'd claimed to be working late. How long? She asked. It didn't mean anything, I said, which might be the cruelest sentence in the English language. She nodded slowly. Picked up her keys. I'm taking the kids to my sister's. Jennifer, please. She held up her hand. Don't. Don't say my name like you have the right. I stood in the kitchen and listened to her pack bags, heard her tell the kids they were having a sleepover at Aunt Marie's, heard the door close. The silence after was so complete it rang in my ears. I looked at my phone, still on the counter. 17 missed messages from Sarah, asking if we were still meeting tonight. I'd traded everything for someone who couldn't even spell my daughter's name. The house stayed empty for 3 days. I called Jennifer 40 times. She answered once. I need time, she said, and hung up. I drove to her sister's apartment. Marie met me at the door. You need to leave. I need to talk to her. You lost that right when you fucked someone else. I could hear the kids inside, asking if that was Daddy. Jennifer appeared behind Marie, face blank. Go home. My lawyer will contact you. Lawyer. The word hit like a fist. I deleted everything. The messages, the app, Sarah's number. Blocked her on everything. Sent Jennifer screenshots as proof, like digital evidence could erase actual betrayal. She didn't respond. Work became unbearable. Sarah tried to talk to me once, in the break room. I'm sorry about your situation, but we both knew. Don't, I said. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. We're done. She seemed hurt, like I'd wronged her. That's when I understood she'd never seen herself as the other woman. She'd seen herself as the better option. I'd let her believe that. Marcus called. Hey man, heard you and Jen are having problems. If you need anything. You told me I deserve to feel alive, I said. You want to know what alive feels like? Like being buried. I hung up. Haven't talked to him since. My parents came over. Mom cried. Dad couldn't look at me. We raised you better than this, he said. That hurt worse than anything Jennifer had said, because it was true. They had. And I'd thrown it away anyway. The divorce papers arrived on a Monday. Jennifer wanted full custody, the house, half of everything. I signed without a lawyer, without fighting. What was I going to argue? That I deserved equal time with kids who now flinched when I reached for them? That I'd earned half the house I'd disrespected? I moved into a one-bedroom apartment that smelled like old carpet. Started therapy because Jennifer's lawyer made it a condition of visitation. The therapist asked what I was feeling. Nothing, I said. Everything. I don't know. Why did you do it? I'd been asking myself that for weeks. I felt invisible. I felt like I'd stopped mattering. And now? Now I know invisible would have been better than this. The first supervised visitation was at a McDonald's play place. My kids sat across from me like I was a stranger they'd been warned about. Emma, my 7-year-old, asked if I was coming home. Not right now, baby. Because you hurt Mommy? I couldn't breathe. Yes. Are you going to hurt us too? That night I sat in my apartment and understood what I'd actually done. I hadn't just broken a promise to Jennifer. I'd taught my children that love was conditional, that commitments could be abandoned, that the person who should protect them most couldn't be trusted. I'd given them wounds they'd carry into every future relationship. Jennifer started dating 8 months after the divorce finalized. A guy from her book club. Patient, kind, the kind of man who shows up. The kids mentioned him casually. Mom's friend Dave taught me how to throw a curveball. Dave makes really good pancakes. I wanted to hate him. I couldn't. He was giving them what I'd stopped providing. Stability, presence, proof that adults can keep their promises. A year later, I saw them at the park. All 4 of them. Jennifer looked lighter than I'd seen her in years. The kids were laughing. Emma was holding Dave's hand. They were a family, and I was the ghost of someone who used to live there. Jennifer saw me watching. She didn't wave or smile or acknowledge me beyond making sure I wasn't approaching. I was a boundary to manage, not a person she remembered. I thought about Sarah sometimes, wondered if she ever thought about what she'd helped destroy. Probably not. For her it had been exciting, forbidden, a story she might tell at parties. I once dated a married guy. It was complicated. For me it was the detonation of everything I'd built. My buddy from college reached out after hearing what happened. Man, everyone makes mistakes. You can rebuild. Some mistakes don't get rebuilt, I told him. Some mistakes are just scars you carry. I see my kids every other weekend now. Unsupervised, finally, after 2 years of proving I was stable. They're polite. Distant. They call Dave when they need help with homework. They don't call me unless it's my scheduled time. I'm a calendar appointment in their lives, not a father. I tried dating once. Made it 3 weeks before I ended it. Every time she smiled at me, I thought about how I'd smiled at Jennifer while betraying her. Every time I said I promise, I remembered I'd already proven those words meant nothing. I'm 42 now. The affair was 5 years ago. I live alone. I work, I exercise, I see my kids when I'm allowed, I go to therapy, I exist. Jennifer married Dave last year. The kids call him their stepdad. Emma told me she's glad her mom is happy now. Are you happy, Daddy? She asked. I'm glad you're happy, baby girl. She nodded, satisfied with the non-answer. She's 12 now. Old enough to understand what I did, young enough to still love me despite it. Sometimes I drive by the old house. There's a trampoline in the backyard now. Jennifer's garden is thriving. The porch light is always on. It looks like what it is, a home where people feel safe. I gave that up for text messages and parking garage kisses and the fantasy that I was missing something. Turns out I was missing everything. I just didn't notice until it was gone. People ask if I've forgiven myself. I haven't. Forgiveness implies you've earned it back, and I can't earn back what I destroyed. Those 15 years with Jennifer, the trust my kids had in me, the man I could have been if I'd just chosen differently that night at 11:47 p.m. I still remember the text that started it all. 7 words that cost me my entire life. Still thinking about our conversation today. I've been paying for those words ever since. And the worst part? I deserve every consequence. Every empty weekend. Every distant phone call. Every moment my kids choose Dave over me. Every time Jennifer looks through me instead of at me. I cheated because I felt invisible. Now I actually am. And there's no one to blame but the man in the mirror.